My wife Anya came home from her mother's place blind. An accident with industrial alcohol, she said it had corroded her eyes. I was gutted. I waited on her hand and foot, catering to her every whim, my world shrinking to the four walls of our home. It was only on the day my life completely imploded that I realized she was faking it. After the divorce, I was left with nothing. She and her lover, on the other hand, had never been happier. Later, while I was begging on the street, I was abducted, sold to a forgotten corner of Appalachia, chained up in a pigsty by a woman as monstrous in her cruelty as she was in her appearance, and tortured for what felt like a lifetime. In the end, she crushed a life out of me. My death was a silent scream of injustice. Then I opened my eyes. I was sitting in my own living room, watching my wife feel her way out of the bedroom. "Hiroki, where the hell are you? I need to use the bathroom. Come help me now." Anya's eyes were empty, vacant. Her hands clawed at the air as she stumbled forward, muttering curses under her breath. The initial euphoria of being reborn was just starting to fade, replaced by a cold, hard clarity. Looking at my wife's pathetic act, the memories of the pigsty, of the filth and despair, sent a violent shiver down my spine. In my first life, after she went blind, her temper had become explosive. I felt so guilty, so heartbroken for her, hating myself for not protecting her. I let her walk all over me, absorbing her rage without a single complaint. Now, listening to her whine, a grim smile spread across my face. Thank you, God, or whoever, for this second chance. This time, she would pay back every ounce of my suffering 100 times over. I shot up on the couch and rushed to her side. "I'm so sorry, honey," I said, my voice smooth as silk. "I'm right here. Be faster next time," she pouted, a mask of petulant dissatisfaction. I took her arm and guided her toward the bathroom. But halfway there, I gently turned her around and started leading her back the way we came. She stiffened for a second, but allowed me to pull her along. "That's it, sweetie. Watch your step. Almost there," I cooed, my voice dripping with fake tenderness while my mind reeled with cold laughter. I led her back into our bedroom and stopped her at the foot of the bed. "Okay, here we are, go ahead." Anya froze, a muscle in her cheek twitching uncontrollably. "Hey, what's wrong?" I asked, feigning surprise. A low gurgle echoed from her stomach. She really had to go badly. Panic flickered across her face. Was this a test? Had I figured it out? She couldn't let me find out. Not now. Her entire plan would be ruined. Her hand started patting the air downwards, searching. A look of relief washed over her, quickly followed by scowl. "Where's the toilet, Hiroki? Are you messing with me?" I put on my most serious face. "The toilet broke last night. I had plumbers come and take it out this morning while you were still asleep. The new one will be delivered this afternoon." "The hole's still there," I added helpfully. "You could just aim for that." Anya looked like she was about to explode, but a deeper fear took root. She was now certain I was suspicious. Otherwise, why would I do something so bizarre? What was she supposed to do? Sweat beaded on her forehead. Her churning stomach wasn't giving her any time to think. Was she really going to have to do it here? Another desperate gurgle. She was losing control. "Get out," she shrieked. I was dying inside, but I kept my face a perfect mask of concern. "Of course, honey." I walked out, pulling the door almost shut, but leaving a tiny crack. Anya was losing her mind, but biology is a powerful force. When nature calls, you have no choice but to answer. Finally, she squatted. A foul stench instantly filled the room. She pinched her nose, her face burning with a shame she had never known. But the real horror came a moment later. She saw me standing in the cracked, open doorway, my iPhone raised, the flash going off again and again. And because she was blind, she had to pretend she couldn't see a thing. After the photo shoot, I strolled back to the living room sofa, feeling immensely satisfied. I opened Facebook. Of course, I pixelated the crucial parts. As for the smell in the bedroom, I couldn't care less. We'd been sleeping in separate rooms ever since she went blind in my last life. Every time I tried to initiate intimacy, she'd shut me down, saying she was scared that she couldn't see and couldn't be sure it was me. Hearing that she cared so much, I backed off every time. That's why after 2 years of marriage, we were still childless. Looking back, it was all a pathetic joke. The post went live. I hate myself so much right now. I was a little late getting home and my wife couldn't find a bathroom, so I attached 2 tastefully blurred photos. Anya's face, however, was in perfect focus. Not only that, I shared the same post and caption to her family's group chat, which immediately blew up with a flurry of shocked emojis. The aunts and uncles were one thing. My mother-in-law went straight to a profanity-laced voice memo. Hiroki, you son of a bitch, have you lost your mind? Anya is blind. It's bad enough you're not taking care of her, but you post something like this? What the hell is wrong with you? My father-in-law was right behind her. You're a real piece of work. Hiroki, you just wait. I'm coming over there to teach you a lesson for treating my daughter this way. You're dead. Haha. I almost cried from laughing so hard. It was a small release for a lifetime of pain, but it was a start. It wasn't nearly enough. As for their threats, I wasn't worried. They lived off my money. What were they going to do? In my past life, Anya used my love for her to wrap me around her little finger, making me an obedient puppet for her entire family. Now we'd see who really couldn't live without whom. Honey, I'm done. Where's the toilet paper? Can you bring it to me? Anya's voice called out, tight with suppressed fury. I could feel the rage simmering beneath her words. Coming, sweetie. When she saw me walk in, pinching my nose, I could tell she wanted nothing more than to strangle me. After she was cleaned up, I helped her to the living room. She let out a sigh of relief as she sat down. Babe, the office just called. I have to run in for a bit, but I'll be back before you know it, I said, squeezing her hand with an apologetic look. Usually she'd whine and complain whenever I had to leave. This time she nodded eagerly. Go, go, don't let me hold you back from work. I walked out the front door, then immediately ducked into the landscaped bushes near the building's entrance. Just as I expected, my in-laws' Ford Explorer, the one I paid for, came screeching into the parking lot. Hate burned in my eyes. Everything they had, I was going to take back. If I wasn't mistaken, those two were in on the whole blind act from the very beginning. Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? Anya was in the bedroom, gagging on the stench as she tried to clean up her mess. Her excuse, if I came back and saw, would be that her mom had stopped by to help. The second my mother-in-law burst through the door, she started looking around frantically. Where is that little bastard, Hiroki? I'm going to kill him. My father-in-law echoed her, bellowing. Yeah, where is he? A sense of dread washed over Anya. What's wrong, Mom? What's wrong? Her mother shrieked. Did you really take a crap on a bedroom floor? That bastard Hiroki posted pictures of it in a family group chat. Her father chimed in, and on his Facebook page. Anya remembered the flash of my phone. She scrambled for her own iPhone, fumbled to open the app, and when she saw the post, a blood-curdling scream tore from her throat. Hiroki, I'm going to kill you. I could hear it all the way down in the bushes. Finally, the three of them stormed out of the building. Anya yanked open the car door and jumped in without a moment's hesitation. So much for being blind. That settled it. Her parents were definitely in on the scam. I watched the SUV speed away, a cold, predatory smile on my face. I drove to my office. It was my own company, a small digital marketing agency with about a dozen employees. We cleared a minimum of $100,000 a year, sometimes topping $200,000 in a good year. In a city like Denver, I was doing pretty well. My parents died when I was young, and I used their inheritance to start the business and build this life. Because I didn't have parents of my own, I had treated my in-laws like my real family. The car, the two-bedroom condo they lived in, I bought it all. And for my generosity, they conspired to ruin me and send me to that hellish end. My employees were giving me strange looks. I knew it was because of the Facebook post. I didn't care. Compared to the agony of my past life, a little public embarrassment was nothing. I went into my office and made a call. Mateo, I need some things. You got it, boss. Just say the word, and it's done. Less than half an hour later, the package was in my hands. Mateo was a local fixer with a reputation. I'd helped him out of a jam once, and I always threw some small-time, cash-intensive projects his way to keep him on the payroll. He treated me with a great deal of respect. With the gear in hand, I headed straight home. The stench in the bedroom had been taken care of, probably by my mother-in-law. It didn't matter. I got to work, placing the tiny, high-definition cameras I'd acquired in every corner of the apartment, ensuring 360-degree coverage. Only then was I satisfied. Anya was gone and didn't come back. She was probably waiting for me to come begging for her forgiveness. That's how it always was in my past life. She'd throw a tantrum, call her mother to come get her, and I'd have to show up on their doorstep, head bowed, armed with expensive gifts, and plead for her to come home. Not this time. In her dreams. But then a thought occurred to me. Maybe she didn't just go to her parents' place. I pulled out my phone and called Mateo again, giving him a new assignment and sending him a couple $1,000s via Venmo. Mateo was ecstatic, promising me he'd get the job done. After hanging up, I drove to a high-end steakhouse. I booked a private room, and to the waiter's bewilderment, ordered enough food for a party of 4. Then I sat there and ate every last bite myself. The memory of gnawing on scraps and garbage in that pigsty was still burned into my brain. As I devoured the perfectly cooked steak and lobster, I couldn't help but marvel how stupid I'd been. I was making all this money and never let myself enjoy it. Instead, I'd been a workhorse for a family of ungrateful parasites. It was pathetic. When I was finally full, I went home to enjoy the peace and quiet. A text from Mateo came through with 2 photos. The pictures showed 2 people. One was my wife, Anya. The other was a young man I vaguely recognized. The background was a cheap motel. Seeing the young man's face made my blood run cold. It's him. My expression darkened. A wave of traumatic memories washed over me. I saw myself chained in the filth of the pigsty, looking up to see that same man standing there with that fat, ugly woman, chatting in a thick rural dialect. The man had looked down at me with a smirk of contempt as I begged him to help me. How pathetic I must have seemed. It all clicked into place. I seethed with a rage so intense I could feel my teeth grinding. This man had to be from Anya's hometown, probably her high school sweetheart, the one that got away. So my dear wife, I was sold off to your hometown, was I? The thought was chilling. I'd been to her hometown once, a poor, isolated place deep in the mountains of West Virginia. I felt so bad for her parents having to live like that I moved them to the city and set them up with a condo and a car. A second photo came through. This one had 3, Anya, her lover, and another woman, a woman I despised with every fiber of my being. Sophia Reed, Anya's best friend, one of the architects of my social and financial ruin. This was the woman who, while I was asleep, had stripped naked, crawled into my bed, and allowed Anya to take pictures that would be used as the ultimate weapon against me. Sophia was a micro-influencer whose career had imploded after she was exposed as the mistress of a local real estate mogul. His wife had put her on blast all over the internet, and her reputation was toxic waste. The fact that I got mixed up with her was all anyone needed to believe the worst of me. For her to go along with a plan like that, Anya must have promised her a hefty sum for my savings. 3 days passed. For 3 days, aside from a few brief appearances at the office, I did nothing but enjoy myself. As for Anya, it was as if I had forgotten she existed. This evening, while I was getting a deep tissue massage at a spa, her call finally came. Hiroki, where the hell have you been? Why haven't you come and get me? I can't believe what an irresponsible jerk you are. Her voice was sharp, accusatory. And what did I ever do to you? You posted that picture on Facebook. Are you trying to get me socially crucified? My friends are telling me I need to see a psychiatrist. You've made my life a living hell. I want to divorce you, bastard. I knew it. I knew you thought I was faking being blind. Or are you satisfied now? Do you see? Am I faking it? By the end of her tirade, she was sobbing hysterically. I held the phone away from my ear, a wide grin on my face, and said nothing, letting her perform. She wasn't done with me yet. She still wanted to frame me, to take everything I had. She couldn't just ignore me. The crying, though, was probably real. That kind of public humiliation would be hard for anyone to stomach. My Facebook post was still racking up comments and shares from strangers. When my silence stretched on, she started to sound panicked. But if you come over here and get on your knees and apologize, I might consider forgiving you. Otherwise, you can just wait for the divorce papers. Oh, and my dad's out of that good bourbon. Pick up a case on your way over. And my mom was saying their sofa isn't comfortable. Stop by Pottery Barn and order them a new, expensive one. Click. She hung up. Your wife? The attractive masseuse asked, blinking at me. I nodded. Yep. She gave me a look of profound pity. She had no idea. In my last life, that's exactly how stupid I was. She treated me like dirt, and I treated her like a goddess. I was so deep in it, I couldn't see a thing. 2 more days passed, still no word from me. I didn't go see her. Finally, Hiroki, open this door right now. My mother-in-law's shrill voice came through the front door. I chuckled. I knew they couldn't hold out. They wanted everything I had. Even if they filed for divorce now, They'd only get half, and that wouldn't be enough for them. I opened the door to find the three of them, Anya and her parents, standing there, faces thunderous. My mother-in-law pointed a finger at me and launched into a tirade. "Hiroki, what is your problem? You screw up, and you don't even have the decency to come and apologize? Your wife is blind and you, her husband, just abandon her? Are you even human?" Her voice was naturally loud, and her shouting quickly drew our neighbors out of their apartments to see what the commotion was. The audience only fueled her fire. Convinced she held the moral high ground, she continued her speech, listing my crimes for all to hear. How I'd accuse Anya of faking her blindness, how I'd humiliated her in our own home, how I'd broadcast her shame to the world, a true monster. And after doing all that, I didn't even apologize, I just went off to enjoy myself. Instantly, I was hit with a barrage of contemptuous stares from my neighbors. It didn't faze me in the slightest. After what I'd been through, what did I care about the opinions of strangers? Revenge was all that mattered at that moment. Anya covered her face and began to sob, her shoulders shaking. It was a masterful performance, and it immediately won the sympathy of the crowd. "You should apologize to her. What kind of a man are you? Yeah, is that any way to treat your wife? Picking on a disabled person, for shame." The neighbors joined the chorus of condemnation. I walked over to Anya, my face a mask of remorse. "Honey, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have ever doubted you." I lowered my voice. I read this thriller novel a while back about a woman who fakes being blind to scam her husband and leave him homeless. It just got to my head. I was an idiot to test you like that. Hearing this, Anya's act faltered for a second. A flicker of panic crossed her face before she quickly covered it. "I would never do something like that. I love you, Hiroki. You don't suspect me anymore, do you?" I pulled her into a hug, my voice thick with emotion. "Of course not, honey. I'm so sorry. I've been miserable these past few days. I felt so ashamed I couldn't even face you. I was just about to go buy you flowers and come beg for your forgiveness when you showed up." Anya and her parents were internally fuming. They'd been too impatient. They thought I had changed, but it turned out I was the same old simp they'd always known. Seeing that the marital spat was resolved, the neighbors lost interest and went back to their apartments, though most of them still shot me looks of disgust. Inside, it was just Anya and me. She had sent her parents away. I knew why. She had a plan to execute, and they would only get in the way. "Honey, I have to use the bathroom," she said, likely wanting to test me one more time. This time I was the perfect, dutiful husband, guiding her straight to the bathroom. She seemed to relax. The toilet was the same old toilet. The little heart-shaped sticker she'd put on the tank years ago was still there. The sight of it probably brought back all her anger. "You can go out now, honey," she said, her voice cold. "Okay, sweetie," I replied with a cheerful smile and left the room. The second I was gone, I pulled out my phone and switched on the live feed from the cameras. Anya's face, no longer needing to feign blindness, twisted into a hateful sneer. After muttering to herself for a moment, she took out her phone and started texting. The high-definition camera captured everything perfectly. She was contacting Sophia, so it was happening. But the timing was off. I went back to my old routine, fussing over her, doting on her every need. "Oh, by the way," Anya announced later, "Sophia might come over tonight. Make sure you cook something nice." I feigned reluctance. "Honey, you know Sophia's reputation isn't great right now. Maybe we should keep our distance for a while." Anya instantly flew into a rage. What do you know? She was young and naive, taken advantage of by some rich old creep, and now she's getting dragged online for it. She's the real victim here. She's my best friend. You think I don't know what kind of person she is? She glared in my general direction. "Once she gets here, you better be nice or you'll regret it." Birds of a feather, I thought, two peas in a pod. I shook my head inside. "Can we do another time? My parents might be coming for a visit, and I have to go out of town for a few days." Anya's brow furrowed. "What's going on?" "It's a $20,000 contract," I said, putting on a troubled expression. "The client is insisting I meet with him in person or the deal's off." Anya's eyes widened. She hesitated for a moment, but the lure of the money was too strong. It was her money, after all, in her mind. Her little scheme to frame me could wait a few days. The money, however, couldn't. When it came to my ability to make money, she trusted me completely. The balance in our bank account was proof of that. I left, but I only went as far as a motel a few blocks from our apartment. I settled in and turned on the camera feed on my laptop. Anya's voice came through the speakers, clear as day. "Hey Liam, you can come over now." "Yeah, he's out of town on business. Should be gone for a few days. Just be careful when you come up. Don't let anyone see you." A grin spread across my face as I watched. This was why I'd wanted to postpone Sophia's visit. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. And my dear wife, true to form, couldn't wait a single second to be safe. She called her parents to coordinate their stories. Half an hour later, a young man slipped into my home. The moment he and Anya saw each other, it was like gasoline on a fire. They fell into each other's arms, a tangle of limbs and desperate kisses. I had never seen this side of her. With me, she was always so reserved, so proper. God, was I really that blind in my past life? I recorded everything, every kiss, every touch, every sordid detail. After they were finished, they lay in my bed, planning their future. They went over the entire plan to frame me step by step. It was identical to what had happened in my first life. My eyes were glacial, my smile predatory. For 3 straight days, the two of them turned my home into their personal love nest, talking excitedly about starting a family. What my lovely wife didn't know was that during this time I had Mateo tailing Liam, and he'd uncovered a little secret. Liam was living in an apartment Anya was renting for him, and he had a frequent visitor, Anya's best friend, Sophia. Well, this was getting interesting. At one point, Mateo's surveillance caught all 5 of them, Anya, Liam, Sophia, and my in-laws, meeting to conspire. I had it all on video. I sent a voice message to Anya. "Hey honey, the deal went great. Huge success. I'll be home tomorrow." I could hear her delighted laughter in her reply. She could never have too much money. When I got home, all traces of her affair had been scrubbed clean. I gushed about how much I'd missed her, then casually asked if her parents had left so soon. Anya said they didn't want to intrude on our time together. I had to physically restrain myself from gagging as I praised them for being so considerate. Touching Anya made my skin crawl, but I had to see this through to the end. "By the way," she said, "Sophia couldn't make it the other day, so I told her to come over tonight. She should be here any minute." As if on cue, the doorbell rang. Sophia was naturally attractive, but her makeup was caked on so thick it looked cheap. She seemed to be in low spirits. She mumbled a quick hello to me and went straight to Anya's side to start her performance. She whined about how hard her life was, about all the nasty things people were saying about her online. By the end, she was weeping softly into a tissue. Her acting was superb. I had to give her that. I cooked dinner that night, 5 dishes and a soup. Everything looked and smelled delicious, and Sophia's eyes lit up. She eagerly took a bite of tofu. "Huh, why is this so salty?" she sputtered, spitting it out. Anya looked confused. She took a bite from the plate I had prepared for her and immediately did the same. "Hiroki, did you do this on purpose?" she snapped. I looked utterly baffled. No way. I must have mixed up the salt and the sugar. Of course I'd done it on purpose. I wouldn't pass up any opportunity to make their lives miserable. "I'm not eating this, Soph. Just order a pizza," Anya said, throwing her chopsticks down in a huff. Sophia shot me a hateful glare. "You know, Hiroki, I wasn't going to say anything, but this is how you treat Anya after that stunt you pulled on Facebook? Everyone says you dote on your wife, but from where I'm standing it's all a lie." She laid the sarcasm on thick. "And speaking of which, why is that post about Anya still on your page?" Anya feigned a look of devastation, her eyes welling up with tears. "Hiroki, why do you enjoy humiliating me that much?" She had known it was still up, of course, but couldn't say anything without revealing she could see. Now she could use her friend as a mouthpiece. I smacked my forehead. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've been so busy I completely forgot." I took out my phone, tapped the screen a few times with a look of concentration, and then put it away. I hadn't deleted a thing, but they didn't check, assuming the deed was done. Anya visibly relaxed. They turned their attention to ordering a pizza. I meanwhile happily ate my own dinner. I'd made one dish with the correct amount of seasoning, just for myself. Later that night, I lay in bed waiting. The clock on the nightstand ticked slowly toward midnight. Then I heard it, a soft click as my bedroom door opened. If I had been sound asleep, I never would have noticed, just like the first time. In the faint moonlight filtering through the window, I saw a naked silhouette slip into the room and creep toward my bed. A cold smile touched my lips. Sophia was really committing to the role, not a stitch of clothing on her. The covers were gently lifted. She slid in next to me and threw her arms around me. Then she let out a piercing scream. The lights flickered on. I saw Anya standing by the door, phone in one hand, filming me. Her other hand is coming away from the light switch. "What's wrong, Soph?" she asked, feigning panic. Sophia threw the covers off, screaming, "Help me, Anya. Hiroki, he's raping me." She waited until she thought Anya had gotten enough footage, then let go of me, clutching the blanket to her chest and bursting into convulsive sobs. "I want to die," she wailed. "Hiroki raped me. Oh my God, how could this happen? My life is ruined." Through it all, I didn't move a muscle. I just lay there, a slight, knowing curl to my lips, watching their little play unfold. "Hiroki, what are you doing?" Anya cried, her voice a perfect blend of heartbreak and betrayal. "How could you do this to me, to us? If Sophia calls the police, you could go to jail. Do you understand that? In my first life, the fear of that, of going to prison for a crime I didn't commit, was part of why I'd agreed to give her everything." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from the front of the apartment. It sounded like the front door had been kicked in. A slight deviation from last time's script. No matter, everything was still under control. "Soph, are you okay?" a man's voice yelled. A figure burst into the bedroom. It was Anya's hometown sweetheart, Liam. Seeing Sophia in my bed, his face contorted with rage. "Ah, I see. After the public humiliation of the Facebook post, Anya must have tweaked the plan. Now Liam was here to beat me. He just came in here while I was sleeping, and he tried to rape me. Wah, I don't want to live anymore." Sophia sobbed to her lover. "You bastard." Liam roared. "You assault my girlfriend? I'll kill you." He lunged at me, his fist raised. I wasn't about to just lie there and take it. I snatched the heavy glass ashtray from the nightstand and hurled it at him. Arg! It hit him square in the forehead. He let out a pained scream, clamping his hands to his head, but he couldn't stop the blood that immediately started streaming through his fingers. "Liam!" Anya shrieked. She rushed to his side, her face a mask of genuine concern, tears welling in her eyes. The depth of her affection for him was sickeningly obvious. She pointed a trembling finger at me, her eyes blazing with pure hatred. "Hiroki, you hit him." "Wow, honey," I said, my voice dripping with mock surprise. "Your eyesight's back?" Anya's face went pale. She gritted her teeth. "Yes," she spat. "You just came back right now. Good thing, too. Or who knows how much longer you would have tortured me." She rounded on me, her voice ringing with self-righteous fury. "Hiroki Carter, I can't believe the kind of person you are. First you try to rape my best friend, then you assault her boyfriend. I was so wrong about you. I want a divorce." With the photos on her phone, Anya was confident this was it, the final showdown. In my last life, when they accused me of rape, I was genuinely terrified. The thought of prison was unbearable. That's why I agreed to walk away with nothing. But now, Sophia chimed in, glaring at me with venom. "Anya's right. You need to divorce this disgusting pig. Just looking at him makes me sick. I'm pressing charges. He's going to prison." At this, Anya's expression softened. She turned to Sophia, her eyes pleading. "Soph, please, for my sake, can you just not call the cops?" Sophia put on a show of being conflicted. "Well, okay, but he has to give you everything in the divorce. He needs to be punished somehow. Otherwise I can't live with myself," she wailed. The two of them were a perfect team. I leaned back against the headboard, enjoying the performance. Anya turned back to me, her voice full of contempt. "You heard her. This is the last favor I'll ever do for you. Don't be an idiot." I grinned. I looked at Sophia, held up 3 fingers, and said with conviction, $30,000. The room went silent. Even Liam stopped moaning. Sophia stared at me dumbfounded. 30 grand. I repeated, my voice steady. "I'll pay you $30,000 to not press charges." I knew my mark. There was no way this money-grubbing opportunist would say no. Anya had only promised her $10,000 for her role in the setup. I was offering triple. A greedy light sparked in Sophia's eyes. "Deal. Hiroki, you got a deal." "Sophia, you can't." Anya started, her voice choked with fury. Sophia didn't even look at her. In the face of cold hard cash, their plastic friendship meant nothing. She'd already been thinking about how to screw Anya over for Liam, but Liam had turned out to be a cheapskate. Taking the 30 grand now and getting out of town was a much better plan. The money now and I'm gone, Sophia said, stepping toward me. I held up a hand. Easy now. First I want to show you all something. I picked up my phone from the nightstand and held it out for them to see. When they saw the picture, Sophia just shrugged. She'd already burned her bridge with Anya. But Liam's face went ashen. The most spectacular reaction, however, came from my wife. Her eyes widened in horror, her face a canvas of pure, unadulterated betrayal. Liam, Sophia, you too. You backstabbing bastards, she screamed. She shoved Liam away from her, and he crumpled to the floor, howling in pain. Anya, listen to me. It's fake. He photoshopped it. Don't let him trick you. Liam pleaded desperately, but Anya wasn't listening. She lunged at Sophia, grabbing a fistful of her hair. You bitch. Get off me. Sophia was no pushover. She fought back, and soon the two of them were rolling on the floor, scratching and screaming. I watched the chaos unfold with a detached amusement. Let them tear each other apart. Tomorrow was the main event. I swung my legs out of bed and walked toward the door. As I passed Liam, I gave him a couple of hard kicks to the ribs for good measure, sending him into fresh waves of agony. Anya, stop. Hiroki's gone. Liam managed to choke out. That got her attention. She stopped, stood up, and marched over to Liam. She slapped him hard across the face, the sound cracking through the room. You pathetic piece of trash, she hissed, her voice trembling with rage. I dragged you out of that backwards hellhole. I paid for everything, and this is how you repay me. All her plans, all her deception, it had all been for him, for the life they were supposed to have together. The heartbreak had pushed her to the edge. I'm sorry, Anya. I swear I'll never do it again. She seduced me. You're the only one I love. I swear. Liam whimpered, throwing Sophia under the bus without a second thought. Besides, we need to focus on Hiroki right now. We can't let him win. That snapped Anya back to reality. Ruining me, getting me thrown in jail, that was still the primary objective. Sophia, her face bruised and swollen, could only laugh bitterly at Liam's cowardice. Sorry guys, but I'm out. I think I'll go find Hiroki and collect my 30 grand. $35, Anya said instantly. The woman had guts, I'll give her that. It pained her to lose even more money, but she knew she had no choice. She had to keep Sophia on her side. Sophia's eyes lit up. You got a deal, sis. With their alliance reforged, they got to work. Sophia's bruised face was perfect for the video they were about to make. Combined with the pictures Anya had taken, it would be a compelling story. And it was. The next morning I woke up to my phone buzzing incessantly with missed calls and notifications. It was time. I opened TikTok and there it was, a video with tens of thousands of likes. I was officially infamous. The video featured a bruised and weeping Sophia telling her tragic story to the camera. I don't understand. I was just visiting my best friend, and then this monster. He knew she was blind, and he took advantage of me, right under her nose. The video was intercut with a pixelated but still damning photos of us in bed. Then it was Anya's turn. Her eyes were blank, her face artfully bruised, her gaze fixed on some distant point as tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, Soph, she began, her voice cracking. On behalf of my husband, Hiroki, I am so sorry. My eyes may be blind, but my heart isn't. He's always had a violent streak, but I endured it for the sake of our family. After I lost my sight, it got worse. The beatings, the humiliation. I can't stay silent anymore, she declared. I have to stand up for my friend, to get her justice, even if it means my husband goes to prison. I don't care. I gave a video a like. This was exactly the kind of attention I wanted. The comments section was a cesspool of outrage. What kind of scumbag does that? I hope he gets struck by lightning. OMG, my best friend's husband. I'm never sleeping over at her house again. Lock him up and throw away the key. He's not even human. One user even posted a screenshot of my original Facebook post about Anya. His wife is telling the truth. I'm friends with him on Facebook and he posted this a while back. Humiliating your disabled wife online? That's a new low. Whoa, it's real. That's all the proof I need. That poor woman. I can't even imagine. Of course, a few people were skeptical. I don't know. This Sophia chick seems shady. Two sides to every story, right? But they were in the minority. With his own wife condemning him, what offense could I possibly have? I was being crucified online. Friends I'd known for years were sending me hateful messages. My phone was a constant stream of vitriol. Then it rang again. "Boss, whatever you do, don't come to the office," my assistant, Chris, whispered frantically. "The cops are here, and there's a huge crowd gathering outside. It's not safe." A crowd? Perfect. Some things you can't post online. Good kid. Chris, he was definitely getting a raise. The phone rang again. The police. "Mr. Carter, we'd like you to come and answer some questions. We'd appreciate your cooperation." "Of course, officer. I'm on my way to my office now. You can meet me there." There was a surprised pause on the other end. The police hadn't come to my hotel because Anya hadn't officially filed a report yet. They were only here because of the public outcry. When I got to my office building, the scene was even wilder than I had imagined. The entrance was blocked by a mob of angry people, news vans parked haphazardly along the curb. I got out of my car, a placid smile on my face. That's him, Hiroki Carter. He actually showed up. The nerve of this. He's smiling. He won't be smiling in prison. Their insults washed over me. I was just happy to see that the whole cast was here. Anya, her parents, Liam with a white bandage wrapped around his head, and Sophia. It saved the police the trouble of rounding them all up. With the police present, the crowd kept their distance, content to scream insults at me. I pushed my way through and walked up to the lead officer. "Hiroki Carter, I'm not going to say anything more here. Please come with us," the officer said sternly. "You bastard," my mother-in-law shrieked, tried to lunge at me before being restrained. "You did this to my daughter. I'll kill you." Anya, leaning on a white cane, turning her head from side to side as if trying to locate me in a world of darkness, was the picture of vulnerability. It was a brilliant performance, and the crowd ate it up. "Hiroki, are you here?" she called out, her voice trembling. "I can't see you. Please just turn yourself in. You can hit me. You can humiliate me. I can take it, but what you did to Soph. I'm so scared. Hiroki." She broke down in sobs. The crowd's sympathy for her surged, and their hatred for me intensified. "Scumbag. Lower than dirt. Monster. I can't take it anymore. I just want to punch him." Watching her, I was so overcome with joy that I started to tremble. To the outside world, it must have looked like I was shaking with fear. I saw a flicker of a triumphant smile on Anya's lips before she quickly hid it. With the evidence she had, she thought she had me dead to rights. I looked at the officer. "Can I just say one thing? Then I'll go with you quietly?" He nodded. "You have that right." I looked up at the second-floor balcony of my office and shouted, "Matteo, now!" All eyes turned upwards. A man, Matteo, was setting up a massive LED screen on a balcony, flanked by two large speakers. Before the crowd's confusion could turn to questions, the screen flickered to life. The image that appeared was of a man and a woman locked in a passionate embrace. "Oh, Liam, I've missed you so much." "Anya, babe, I've missed you too." Anya, who had been reveling in her victory, froze. The sound of her own voice, clear and treacherous, hit her like a physical blow. Forgetting her act, she whipped her head up to look at the screen. The blood drained from her face. She swayed, nearly collapsing. Liam, beside her, was equally stunned. The police officers exchanged surprised, then grim, glances. This was far more complicated than they'd thought. "Hey, isn't that the wife, Anya? Oh my God, she's cheating on him, with the guy standing right next to her. Wait a minute, she doesn't look blind there. Was she faking it? If she was faking, why? I heard her husband was loaded. Wow, this is messed up. First cheating, next it'll be murder, you watch." The crowd's opinion of Anya shifted in an instant. My in-laws' faces went from red to white to purple. "Officer, you have to make him stop," my mother-in-law shrieked. "This is an invasion of privacy. It's illegal." No one was listening to her. The next clip showed Anya at home alone, moving around with perfect sight, watching TV, texting on her phone. Irrefutable proof that her blindness was a sham. Then came the piece de resistance, the video of the five of them gathered together, plotting my downfall. Their entire plan, a perfect mirror of what I had endured in my first life, was broadcast for all to hear. What? Frame him with fake photos, force him to give up all his assets, and then sell him to some backwoods place to be locked in a pigsty and tortured to death by some hillbilly woman. That's worse than murder. A collective gasp went through the crowd. The police officers looked at the five conspirators as if they were seeing snakes. Every person there imagined themselves in my shoes, and a cold dread washed over them. The reversal was so swift, So absolute, it was breathtaking. It was a raw, unfiltered look into the depths of human depravity. The police had already moved to surround Anya and her co-conspirators, but the video wasn't finished. The final clip showed Sophia sneaking into my room in the middle of the night, followed by Anya, phone in hand, staging the entire scene. It was all there, clear as day. "Officer, listen to me," Sophia shrieked, collapsing to the ground in a puddle of tears. "It was Anya. That bitch made me do it. Look at my face. She beat me. I'm a victim too." Listening to their plan being laid bare, a wave of pain washed over me. This wasn't just a story, it was my life, my death. The police took them all away. Because of my methods, I got a stern lecture from the authorities, but nothing more. Anya and I were divorced. She left with nothing. The condo and the car I had bought for her parents were returned to me. The sentences came down soon after. Liam and Sophia each got 3 years. My in-laws, for their lesser involvement, got 1 year, and my dear ex-wife, Anya, the mastermind, was sentenced to 6 years in prison. But was it over? Not by a long shot. I was waiting for them. My in-laws were the first to be released. They were old, broken, and couldn't make it in the city anymore, so they went back to their rural hometown. There they were met by Liam's parents, who didn't care about the law. All they knew was that their son was in prison because of Anya. They tormented the old couple relentlessly. Combined with the resentment of the other villagers who had always been jealous of my mother-in-law's city heirs, their lives became a living hell. It wasn't long before they both walked to the town bridge and jumped. Of course, I may have helped things along. Mateo had made sure a little cash was spread around to stir the pot. Liam and Sophia got out around the same time, and unbelievably, they got back together. They moved to a new city and quickly fell in with a new crowd of friends who were incredibly generous, flashing cash and helping them get on their feet. Liam and Sophia were touched by their kindness. Having been out of the loop for a few years, they didn't see the trap. When one of their new friends said, "You guys ever think about going to Southeast Asia? That's where I made my money, easiest 50 grand you'll ever make." They jumped at the chance. A month later, I saw a new photo of Liam. His tongue had been cut out. His face was a mess of scars. My heart swelled with sympathy. I paid $50,000 to have him ransomed and shipped back to his hometown. The first person to find him in their yard was that same monstrously fat woman from my past life. Whether she ever returned him to his parents, I don't know. As for Sophia, I heard she ended up on a boat on the high seas. Years later, after I had remarried and had a child, my ex-wife Anya was finally released. She found me. She knelt on my driveway and begged for my forgiveness. I kicked her so hard she flew back several feet. She went home to find her parents, only to be told they had jumped off a bridge. Their bodies never recovered. She started working odd jobs, just trying to survive. One day her scooter slipped on a wet patch on the road. She was thrown headfirst into a large puddle. The water burned her skin. It was industrial alcohol from a nearby factory spill. This time, my ex-wife really was blind. Her face was also severely disfigured. She did eventually remarry. Mateo's wife, a part-time matchmaker, set her up with a 40-year-old bachelor. He wasn't picky, blind, ugly, it didn't matter to him. What mattered was poker, and when he lost he came home and beat his wife. His temper was foul, and one beating was never enough. Eventually Anya couldn't take it anymore. She followed in her parents' footsteps and found the nearest bridge. The whole family, all accounted for. And me? I was holding my gentle, loving wife, stroking the head of my sleeping child, a contented smile on my face. A few years after that I did one last good deed. I made an anonymous tip to the police about a man being held captive in a rural West Virginia home. Liam was rescued. He was on death's door, but he was alive. His parents' grief was absolute. The fat woman was arrested and sentenced to a long time in prison. When she gets out, if Liam's parents are still around, I can't imagine her fate will be a pleasant one.